Hello and welcome to my organic Macon, Georgia garden. I'm Lisa Ann Spencer. Hope you guys are doing well today. Here at our house we have a bit of a summer cold, so I'm not quite firing on all cylinders, but I wanted to participate in the end of the month garden collab with Victoria over at Home Educating the Mad Lads. So here I am posting a little bit late, but better late than never. And by the way, speaking of summer colds, do you remember when those things used to exist? Like, 2 years ago and beyond. I can remember several in my almost 55 years of living where you would get a cold, run a little fever for a couple of days, pass it through the family, feel a little miserable, but 7 to 10 days and you're all back to normal. Nobody treating you like you have the plague or, something like that. So I miss those days. I don't know about you. But anyway, we'll be on the mend soon. My garden's been a little bit neglected. I've been out of town again for pleasure this time. And also it's just the time of the year for the garden. Things kind of start going, south. So let me just tell you what I've done, and then I'll show you some clips, just brief. I pulled out my corn. We did harvest about a dozen ears fresh, and I made cream corn because this is a starchy dent corn that I grow for seed to grind to make cornbread, to make into dressing for our Thanksgiving and our Christmas feast. So I got a bountiful harvest, and I'll show you some of the footage of me pulling out the corn. And I kept the stalks and I shocked them to make some lovely fall arrangements. And then a big storm blew through and blew them down on the ground, which is where they lay right now. I'll give you a tour of that in a few minutes. The ears of corn were mostly dry, but they're in my garage drying, and I'll take you out there too because I've started a few new fall plants. Also, let me pop this video in. The variety of corn that I grew is called Georgia Dent, and it is a yellow corn, but I had one red ear, which is really cool. So I'm going to save seeds from that and maybe plant it again sometime in the future and see what happens. That's always a lot of fun. Oh, another thing that I did was I pulled out my cucumbers. They got completely infested with pickleworm. Like, I noticed I could see the sun shining through the vines, and it was because the worms were up in the vines and they had just eaten it. And there would be like a whole cucumber there. But when you touched it, it would collapse. It was empty on the inside. So I pulled those out. I'll pop in the video footage here. Not that that's exciting. But then I'll pop in another video footage of me. I've sown yard-long beans in their place to grow up the strings to make a pretty display on my back porch. And we'll see how those do. There may not be enough time before the season slows down, but we'll see. Oh, there's an exciting thing. I did finally hit 200 subscribers. It's been a very slow process for me. I'll say to you, my gardening fans, my channel is slow to grow. A good friend of mine tells me that that's because I talk about Jesus and the algorithms won't allow it to grow. Well, I'm hoping that some of you gardeners out there that also love Jesus won't be ashamed to, be my friend and be my subscriber. But anyway, I was very happy to hit 200, so I am doing a 200 subscriber giveaway. So I have here packaged in this envelope and ready to be shipped to whoever wins it, a seed collection from my garden. So these are all home saved seeds, and I'll just tell you what's here. So this tomato Earl's Faux, you actually can find it commercially now, but these seeds were given to me by Earl Cadenhead, who discovered this sport in his garden. He was a friend of mine. He's passed away since, but I've been growing out these seeds for quite a while. I've got cowhorn okra. I've also got this tomato that you can also get commercially now called Grubb's Mystery Green. And this was a friend of mine from Australia, also another sport. And this is my family's favorite tomato. And then I have the Jimmy Nardello frying pepper, which are delicious. The Barupa chocolate bell pepper. I've got some flowers, Cleome, they're purple or lavender colored. Mixed zinnias, 4 o'clocks, French double dwarf marigolds, and morning glory. So if you are interested in winning these, then please post a comment below. Just say, I'm interested in winning the seeds, or you can just post an emoji. If you don't have time, just do some gardening emojis like plants or seeds or trowels, whatever. And that way I know you'll want to be entered into the drawing. And check back next week, probably next Saturday, which I don't have the date, but on my next gardening playlist, I will post the winner of that. All right, so let's go look in the garden briefly and then go to the garage. I thought I'd swing by the fig tree too. You can see several ripe figs. We've been picking every day, and I made one batch of fig jam. If you haven't seen that, you should check out that video. But I'm going to be making another batch today or tomorrow. There's my corn shocks. I had them propped up against the pine tree, but you see they've all blown over, and they're very heavy laden, so I'm not going to try to pick them up today. You can see that corn was tall. It was like 15, 16 foot tall. Yikes. My flowers are all beat down too. It's about time to clean everything out though. Oh yeah, and look here's another garden spider. Can you see her? See if I can get it to focus. And let's go check on the other one. Here's a little, what you call it? Oh, there she is. She's turned her nest around, her web around, so she's harder to see. She's gotten really big. But I'm happy to have her here, just so long as she stays out of the way. There's the ants. You see them? Argentine ants. Oh, I hate those things, and there's just nothing to be done about it. In we go. So there's the empty cornfield, and you see the stalks. They were too hard to pull. I have to dig them out. So I dug out this row and sowed some turnips. And there's a couple here and there, but I'm going to have to re-sow because a great big rain came and I think washed most of them away. And you can see a couple of pitiful looking little melons that are rotting. The chickens are going to get those. I think they just could not get the sun that they needed. they all are rotting on the end, which is a shame. But the chickens will have fun with it. Over here, I dug out the corn and sowed mustard. And the same thing. There's a few little pockets here and there. Well, looks like those did pretty good. I have a random volunteer blue potato growing and a random mint, cinnamon mint, I think it's called. And I appear to have one, what's it called? Help me, Seminole. So if I get one, that'll be great. It was a pretty bad garden year because of weather and because I was away so much. But you can tell by looking down the line that I pulled out all the case knife bean. And I don't normally sow things in this little narrow row here because you see where the shadow is, and the sun moves very quickly and the shadow's just going to grow longer. So I could sow maybe some spinach there that can do well with a little lower light, or lettuce. I may try that. I pulled out all my okra, and I'll show a video clip of that here. And as you can see, there was lots of nematode damage. I sowed mustard and it was old seed. So I see none until you get right down here. There's this one little batch. So I don't know really, was it the rain or was it the seeds? There's a couple of okra that escaped. Oops, spider web, big one. Can you see the spider right there? Not sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna go around. So my peas are looking really good and they're rather loaded down. But the problem is they're crossed. The seed crossed, I don't know when or how. So I am only saving the purple ones with the speckled seed. I'm hoping that I have some seed in my possession that is not crossed. Makes me want to cry, but c'est la vie. There's a pretty little marigold. There is it's called a chocolate striped tomato, and there's a couple of jalapeno peppers. Not sure if those are going to come along in time, but we'll see. Oh yeah, and I left a few case knife beans down here that were looking really healthy and still producing a few beans. Got a good crop of butter beans here that I have just been letting go to seed. Next year I plan to fill up this whole fence row here where the muscadine is. This little muscadine that I have nursed for 3 years and finally got some fruit. It is wild. The chickens like it, but it's pretty much going to be good for nothing. So I'm going to dig that out. You can see the buckshot peppers ripening, and there is another spider web. Okay, I'm going to have to tear that one down. Sorry, baby. And up under here is a college pepper that is ready to pick. And the whole branch just breaks off, which is fine. There's a couple that are not quite fully ripe. I'll leave those a couple days longer. I did sow some more pickle bush cucumbers over here just to see what might happen. If the pickle worm is seasonal and maybe it's done its thing and will leave us the heck alone, we'll see. Some pretty zinnias. Oh, there's another garden spider. And you see her? So we're out here in the garage, and I've got kale, lettuce, broccoli, which did not germinate well, and collards, which germinated beautifully. So I'm going to come back in and sow some more broccoli here. The lettuce and the kale are doing great. I'm keeping a fan going this time so that they don't get so hot. And right here is my corn drying. Come out here and stir it every now and then. There's the red ear. That's cool. All right, sweating out the toxins, right? It'll do me good. I'm worn out from my little tour. But anyway, be sure to comment below with an appropriate emoji, or just say if you'd like to be entered into the drawing to win this pack of seeds from my garden. So until next month's collab, or in a couple of weeks when I'll probably be doing a local update, I'll see you then. Be sure to check out the description box below where I will link to Victoria's channel, and then I'll post her link to all the channels that participated in this month's garden collab. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again.